Hello, this video is called Should the EU Create a Middle Eastern Union between Israel, Turkey and the Arabs? Um, well, there's already steps towards this in what used to be called by the French the Maghreb, that is North Africa. And this could be the germ seed of a larger Mediterranean, what's called the Mediterranean Union, could also become part of a Middle Eastern Union. Now, as I said in my talk on America, 51st state, England or Israel, um, I mentioned that because of the Iraq War, the fight against radical Islam in territorials in territorial terms has moved east away from Israel. But that's not to say that the Israelis aren't fighting a hard war against Islamic insurgency. For instance, there's the role of Iran recently in Lebanon, in the war between Lebanon and Israel, and also in Yemen. So, although the Iranians aren't Arabs themselves, they're Indo-Europeans, they're playing a big role in Arab Shia and Sunni politics. And of course, the Iranians are Shia and they're backing Arab Shia. So now the main problem will be, since the West is tackling Sunni extremism and Wahhabist extremism, is to intercede in this cold war between or hot war between the Sunnis and the Shia, and to balance things so that they will have to come and negotiate. The main war between Iran and between the Shia and Al Qaeda is a war between Saudi Arabia, who's backing Al Qaeda, and and Iran, that's backing the Shia. That's the main problem. Then there's the Israeli and Palestinian problem. So we have to divide these. Now there's also the Israeli need for a water supply, and of course Lebanon is rich in water. Now that's one of the reasons that was given up for the war against Lebanon. But the other reason, of course, is because because Hezbollah has been shelling Israel. So these are all big problems. But what is the biggest military power in the Middle East? It's not Israel, it's Turkey, and Turkey would like to be part of the European Union. And of course, the European Union is affecting the laws of Turkey, and it's also trying to affect the laws of Israel and the Arabs, in that they recognise human, natural, and economic rights. The human natural rights are life to liberty, the pursuit of happiness, the right to property. I think that's a key one, because that's one of the big fights over real estate between the Palestinians and the Israelis. How do we get around this? Because the land is being claimed on a religious basis, and for a secular democratic organisation or group of countries such as the EU, we don't really recognise this as the weight of this in the way that we think. That we recognise it as a problem, but we don't really have any emotional attachment to religious texts, which of course the Israelis and the Arabs do, or the Islamic Arabs. There's also a large Christian minority in both Lebanon and within Israel and within the Palestinian regions, of course, and of course there was in Iraq, but most of those people have left now. Well, we can look more positively towards North Africa, because here the European Union and America have been backing countries such as Mauritania, who have been fighting Al Qaeda and have had some success. Also, the Swedes and French have got 18,000 soldiers in Chad and are fighting against Sudan. And Sudan is being backed by China, but Sudan, independently of China, is backing Al Qaeda. So there's a lot of security problems to deal with before this Mediterranean and Middle Eastern Union could happen. But although Turkey is set to become part of the European Union, we might take the process forward of having some sort of partial membership for Turkey rather than full membership of the European Union, but have full membership of Turkey in the Middle Eastern and Mediterranean Union. That means that a NATO power and a NATO force, which would be a counterweight to Iran, although we should still try and change Iran into a democratic, secular, Indo-European country and try and get it to cooperate. And then Iran and Turkey would be good proxies for us. And then we could demilitarize Israel to a certain extent and try and get some more moderate voices in Israel to come to the fore, and some more moderate voices in the Arab countries to come to the fore. Now, I'm not saying that Israel is not a democratic country, but there are problems between the way the Arab minority in Israel vote and the way that the Israelis vote. And sometimes Arab votes are prevented from happening. Now, Israeli politicians on the left have said that this is almost becoming akin to apartheid. Now, on the right and the religious extremists of Zionism, extreme Zionism rather than moderate cultural Zionism that just wants a Jewish state in character. There's also Zionism that wants to extend Israel to the Euphrates River in Iraq. That's not going to happen. Okay? It's just Israel could not cope with that on its own, even if we gave Israel a free hand, and it would be detrimental to the Zionist cause anyway, because of course then Iran would become involved, Turkey would probably become involved, and then it would just be too much. There would be too much power against Israel for us to handle, and it would then draw in the European Union and America on the Israeli side, and Russia and China on the Iranian side, and then it would be World War III. We can't allow that to happen for the sake of one little country, Israel and Palestine. Two little countries, Israel and Palestine. But what we can do is to use the European Union as a model, that is to have a free exchange of goods and services between people within a trading zone, and we can increase the amount of energy that we get from solar power in the Sahara. Now, since Israel is not dependent on oil, and that was a very good move by Israel to to develop technologies and to develop a market economy that is not dependent on energy, and this is something that Lebanon has done. I said in one of my vids, the banking crisis and terrorism, how the terrorism that was caused by the fight between the Shia Hezbollah and the Christian Fanj groups in Lebanon created a system where the Lebanese protected their banking staff and made their banking system resistant to shocks. Now, this is a model that could be copied not only within the Mediterranean Union and North African Union, but also within Europe and America itself. And I would recommend that they do that. But having Turkey there would be giving us, the Israelis, a guarantee, and having Iran within it would be Iran could be the centre. A democratic Iran could be the centre of a Central Asian Union, which would give the West a foothold within Central Asia, so it wouldn't be drawn within the sphere of Russia and China completely, and we could share influence there between Russia and China, and that would be less tension between us. So we don't really want a Mediterranean and Middle Eastern Union that's too big and too powerful, but it would be more of a guarantee to have Turkey and Israel, for Turkey in there for Israel's sake, and also more countries, more westernized or secular Islamic Arab states that could have the backing of the European Union. And I don't know where the situation would be with Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia and Pakistan are still cooperating and still funding terrorism. So is Iran. But you've seen in my other videos on Iran, Persia, Paper Tiger, or superpower, or Iranian theocracy implodes, then you will see that Iran seems to be moving in the right direction towards democratic change. Thank you for watching this vid, and I hope that there's peace in the Middle East. Peace.